The ocean has always been a place of mystery, a vast expanse that both beckons and terrifies. For as long as humans have dared to venture into its depths, we've told stories of what lies beneath, stories of creatures so strange, so monstrous, they defy imagination. These aren't just tales of giant fish or oversized squid. No, these are the legends of sea monsters, born from the darkest corners of our minds, shaped by fear, wonder, and the unknown. What is it about the deep that compels us to conjure such nightmares? Why do these creatures, born of myth and legend, continue to haunt our collective imagination? In this journey, we'll dive into the shadowy waters of ancient myths and uncover the most terrifying sea monsters ever imagined. From the serpentine Leviathan to the ship-sinking Kraken, each creature carries with it a story, a warning, or a reflection of humanity's deepest fears. We'll explore where these legends came from, what they meant to the cultures that created them, and why they still resonate with us today. And as we set sail, prepare to meet the first of these horrors, a creature so fearsome, its very name was whispered in dread by sailors across the centuries. Ready to uncover the truth behind the myth, let's begin. The Kraken, a name that sends shivers down the spine of even the most seasoned sailors, is perhaps one of the most infamous sea monsters in mythology. This colossal creature, said to lurk in the icy waters off the coasts of Norway and Greenland, has haunted the imaginations of seafarers for centuries. Rooted in Norse mythology, the Kraken is often described as a monstrous squid or octopus, its tentacles so vast they could ensnare entire ships, dragging them into the dark, crushing depths of the ocean. The earliest tales of the Kraken can be traced back to the 13th century, when Norwegian texts spoke of a creature so immense that its movements could stir whirlpools capable of swallowing vessels whole. Sailors' accounts often painted the Kraken as a harbinger of doom, its massive body surfacing only to bring destruction. Some stories even claimed that its sheer size could be mistaken for an island, luring unsuspecting sailors to their doom. These legends weren't just campfire tales, they were born from the very real dangers of the sea, where storms, rogue waves, and unknown creatures lurked beneath the surface. But the Kraken wasn't just a monster of physical destruction. It symbolized something deeper, humanity's primal fear of the unknown. The ocean, vast and uncharted, was a place of mystery and danger, a realm where the rules of the land no longer applied. The Kraken embodied that fear, a reminder that even the bravest explorers were at the mercy of forces beyond their understanding. Over time, the Kraken's legend evolved, finding its way into literature and modern pop culture. From Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to the big screen in films like Pirates of the Caribbean, the Kraken has become a symbol of untamed power and the mysteries of the deep. Its influence is a testament to how ancient myths continue to captivate us, bridging the gap between the past and the present. And while the Kraken may reign supreme in the icy waters of the north, it's far from the only legendary sea monster to haunt the imaginations of ancient cultures. Just as the Kraken embodies the terror of the northern seas, another fearsome creature from Greek mythology rises from the depths, a beast tied to the very fabric of the ancient world. The ancient Greeks knew the sea as a place of beauty, mystery, and unimaginable peril, and no story captures that duality better than the tale of Scylla and Charybdis, twin terrors that haunted the narrow straits of Messina. Picture this: on one side of the strait, Scylla, a monstrous creature with 6 serpentine heads, each lined with razor-sharp teeth, ready to snatch sailors from their ships. On the other side, Charybdis, a swirling vortex capable of swallowing entire vessels in an instant. These were no ordinary dangers, they represented an impossible choice. Sail too close to Scylla and you risk losing 6 of your men. Steer toward Charybdis and you risk losing everything. This harrowing dilemma was famously faced by Odysseus in Homer's Odyssey. A hero known for his cunning, even he couldn't outwit this deadly pairing. Odysseus chose to navigate closer to Scylla, sacrificing a few of his crew to save the rest. But why would such a terrifying duo exist in mythology? Beyond their literal danger, Scylla and Charybdis symbolize the agonizing decisions we all face, choices where every option carries a cost. They remind us that sometimes there's no perfect solution, only survival. Over the centuries, their story has transcended ancient texts, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and even modern metaphors. From Renaissance paintings to modern-day idioms like "caught between a rock and a hard place," their legacy endures. But while Scylla and Charybdis dominate Western tales of maritime horror, the Far East has its own terrifying counterpart, a creature so fearsome it makes even the six-headed Scylla seem tame. Stay with us as we journey across the seas to meet the dragon-like beast that once terrorized the waters of China and Japan. From the depths of the Mediterranean, where the Kraken once reigned, we now sail into the ancient waters of Hebrew mythology, where the Leviathan rises from the abyss. This colossal sea serpent, often described as an unstoppable force of chaos, holds a unique place in the lore of the ancient world. Unlike other monsters that were born from human imagination, the Leviathan is deeply intertwined with themes of divine power and the untamed wildness of nature. In the Book of Job, it is depicted as a creature so immense and fearsome that no human weapon or strategy could subdue it, a true embodiment of the uncontrollable. The Leviathan isn't just a monster, it's a symbol. In ancient texts, it represents the struggle between order and chaos, a reminder of humanity's vulnerability in the face of forces far greater than ourselves. Its scales are said to be impenetrable, its breath capable of boiling the seas, and its very presence a threat to creation itself. But beyond its terrifying physicality, the Leviathan carries a deeper meaning. It challenges us to confront the chaos within our own lives, the storms we can't predict, the challenges we can't control. This duality, both a literal and metaphorical force, has cemented the Leviathan as one of the most enduring figures in mythological history. Its influence stretches far beyond the ancient world. The Leviathan's image has inspired countless interpretations of sea monsters in later cultures, from medieval bestiaries to modern fantasy literature. Its legacy is a testament to the power of myth to transcend time and geography, resonating with anyone who has ever faced the unknown. But as we leave the Leviathan behind, our journey takes us across the globe to the shores of Japan, where another legendary creature awaits, one that embodies not chaos, but a delicate balance between beauty and danger. The ocean has always been a place of mystery and danger, and few creatures embody that sense of dread more than the Umabazu of Japanese folklore. Picture this, a calm sea suddenly turning violent, waves churning as a massive, shadowy figure emerges from the depths. This is the Umabazu, a towering, pitch-black entity with glowing eyes and a body that seems to stretch endlessly into the dark waters. Sailors and fishermen who have encountered it describe a chilling silence before its appearance, as if the sea itself is holding its breath in fear. Legend has it that the Umabazu targets ships, capsizing them without warning and dragging their crews into the abyss. Some say it demands a barrel or bucket from those it confronts, but even if offered, it uses the object to flood the ship, sealing the sailor's fate. These tales weren't just meant to terrify, they served as a stark reminder of the ocean's unpredictable power. In a time when seafaring was both a livelihood and a gamble, the Umabazu became a symbol of the sea's wrath, a force that demanded respect. To ward off this malevolent spirit, fishermen developed rituals and offerings. Some would toss barrels or sacred objects into the water, hoping to appease the Umabazu and ensure safe passage. Others carried talismans or chanted prayers before setting sail, believing that reverence for the sea could turn its wrath into mercy. These practices weren't just superstition. They were a way to cope with the very real dangers of the ocean, blending fear with a sense of humility. The Umabazu's legacy endures as a cultural touchstone, a reminder of humanity's fragile relationship with the natural world. It's a story that resonates deeply, not just in Japan, but wherever the sea holds sway over human lives. And as we leave the dark waters of Japanese mythology, another fearsome creature rises from the icy depths of Scandinavian lore, a being just as terrifying but with its own unique tale to tell. From the icy waters of the north, we now dive into the chilling tale of Jörmungandr, the world serpent of Norse mythology. Picture a creature so vast that it wraps its massive body around the entire earth, its tail clamped firmly in its jaws, forming an endless, unbreakable circle. This is Jörmungandr, also known as the Midgard serpent, a being so powerful that its very existence is tied to the fate of the cosmos. But Jörmungandr isn't just a monstrous sea serpent, it's a harbinger of doom and a symbol of the cyclical nature of life and death. In Norse mythology, Jörmungandr is one of the three children of the trickster god Loki and the giantess Umibōzu, born with a destiny written in the stars. The gods, fearing its potential for destruction, cast it into the ocean surrounding Midgard, the realm of humans. There, it grew so large that it encircled the world, becoming a living boundary between the known and the unknown. But Jörmungandr's story isn't just about its immense size. It's about its role in Ragnarok, the apocalyptic battle that will bring an end to the world as we know it. When Ragnarok comes, Jörmungandr will release its tail and rise from the depths, its emergence signaling the beginning of the final battle. It's said that Thor, the god of thunder, will face the serpent in a duel to the death. Though Thor will ultimately slay the beast, he will take only 9 steps before succumbing to its venom, a reminder of the serpent's unstoppable power. Jörmungandr's symbolism is as deep and turbulent as the oceans it inhabits. It represents chaos and destruction, yes, but also renewal. In Norse belief, the end of the world isn't truly the end, it's a rebirth, a chance for a new world to rise from the ashes of the old. Jörmungandr embodies this duality, a force that tears down to build anew. Even today, its legacy lives on, not just in ancient texts but in modern media. From video games to blockbuster films, the Midgard serpent continues to captivate audiences, often depicted as a primal force of nature, its movements linked to earthquakes and tidal waves. But as we leave the frigid waters of the north, let's set our sights on the warm, tropical seas of Polynesia, where another legendary sea creature awaits. Its story is no less awe-inspiring, and its presence in the myths of the Pacific offers a fascinating contrast to the icy terror of Jörmungandr. Deep in the waters of Aotearoa, or what many know as New Zealand, lurk the Taniwa, beings of immense power and mystery. These legendary creatures of Maori mythology are far from simple sea monsters. They are complex, embodying both the terror and the tenderness of the natural world. To some, they are fierce predators lurking in the depths, ready to drag the unwary beneath the waves. To others, they are revered guardians, protectors of rivers, lakes, and coastlines, ensuring the balance of their domains. Their dual nature makes them one of the most fascinating figures in mythological lore. In some tales, the Taniwa are described as serpentine beings, their long, sinuous bodies gliding effortlessly through the water. In others, they take on more monstrous forms, with scales that glisten like polished stone and eyes that burn like embers. But regardless of their appearance, their role in Maori culture is profound. They are not just creatures of the water, they are symbols of the deep connection between humans and the natural world. For the Maori, rivers and oceans are not just resources, they are sacred, alive, and deserving of respect. The Taniwa remind us of this bond, acting as both protectors and enforcers of that balance. One well-known story tells of a Taniwa named Jörmungandr who lived in Lake Topo. Unlike the fearsome depictions of other Taniwa, Jörmungandr was a benevolent guardian, ensuring the safety of those who traveled the lake. But woe to anyone who disrespected the waters or broke the sacred laws. Jörmungandr's wrath was swift and unrelenting. This duality captures the essence of the Taniwa. They are neither wholly good nor evil, but rather reflections of how humans interact with the environment. The Taniwa also serve as cautionary figures, their stories passed down through generations to teach respect for nature's power. In one legend, a Taniwa is said to have created a whirlpool to punish those who overfished or polluted its waters. These tales are not just myths, they are lessons urging us to tread carefully and honor the world around us. As we leave the waters of Aotearoa, we journey to the ancient rivers of Mesopotamia, where another legendary creature awaits. Here, the Tiamat, a primordial goddess of the saltwater seas, holds sway over chaos and creation. But that's a story for another time. For now, the Taniwa remind us that the line between monster and guardian is often blurred, shaped by the choices we make and the respect we show to the natural world. Deep within the swirling chaos of ancient Babylonian myths lies Tiamat, a goddess as vast and unpredictable as the ocean itself. Often depicted as a monstrous sea serpent or a dragon, Tiamat was more than just a deity. She was the embodiment of the primordial saltwater ocean, the very essence of untamed chaos. In the Babylonian creation myth known as the Enuma Elish, Tiamat plays a pivotal role. She is the mother of all gods, the source from which the universe sprang. Yet her story takes a dramatic turn when her own offspring, the younger gods, rise up against her. This cosmic battle, a clash between creation and destruction, order and chaos, is one of the earliest and most gripping tales in mythology. Tiamat's rebellion against the younger gods is more than just a power struggle. It's a symbolic representation of the natural world's wild, uncontrollable forces. When she is slain by Marduk, the storm god, her body is split in two, forming the heavens and the earth. This act of creation through destruction highlights her dual nature. She is both the chaos that threatens to consume and the raw material from which life is forged. Her serpentine form, often associated with the sea, evokes the dangers of the deep, where ancient sailors believed unimaginable horrors lurked. But Tiamat's legacy extends far beyond Babylonian mythology. Her influence can be traced through later traditions, where she becomes a template for other chaotic sea deities and monsters. From the Greek Hydra to the biblical Leviathan, echoes of Tiamat's untamed power resound through the ages. She represents the primal fear of the unknown, the deep waters that both give life and threaten to take it away. As we leave the turbulent waters of Babylonian mythology, let's journey to the misty shores of Celtic lore, where another legendary sea creature awaits. Here, the Kelpie emerges from the depths, a shape-shifting spirit of the water that lures unsuspecting travelers to their doom. But that's a story for another moment. From the misty lochs of Scotland emerges a creature as enchanting as it is deadly, the Kelpie. This shape-shifting water spirit is one of the most infamous figures in Scottish folklore, known for its ability to lure unsuspecting travelers to a watery grave. Often appearing as a stunningly beautiful horse with a sleek, glistening coat, the Kelpie waits by the water's edge, inviting passers-by to climb onto its back. But once mounted, its true nature is revealed. The Kelpie's skin becomes adhesive, trapping its victim, and it drags them into the depths, never to be seen again. But the Kelpie isn't limited to its equine form. It can also take on the appearance of a human, often a handsome man or a charming woman, to deceive its prey. In some tales, it even wears a bridle, a subtle clue to its monstrous identity. These stories were passed down through generations, not just as entertainment but as stark warnings. Parents would tell their children to stay away from the water's edge, especially at dusk when the Kelpie was said to roam. One particularly chilling tale tells of a young woman who encountered a beautiful black horse by the river. Ignoring the warnings, she climbed onto its back, only to feel its skin grow sticky and unyielding. As the Kelpie plunged into the water, her screams echoed through the night, a grim reminder of the spirit's deadly intent. These stories served as more than mere horror. They were lessons, teaching people to respect the dangers of nature and the unseen forces that dwell within it. The Kelpie's role in folklore goes beyond its terrifying deeds. It's a cautionary figure, a reminder of the thin line between beauty and peril. Its tales are woven into the fabric of Scottish culture, a testament to the power of storytelling to both captivate and warn. And as we leave the haunting lochs of Scotland behind, we journey now to the sun-drenched shores of ancient Greece, where another legendary creature awaits, a being whose very name strikes fear into the hearts of sailors and adventurers alike. Now let's dive into the depths of Greek mythology, where we encounter Setus, a fearsome sea monster unleashed by Poseidon himself. Sent to ravage the coast of Ethiopia, this creature wasn't just a random act of divine wrath, it was a punishment. The story goes that Queen Cassiopeia, Andromeda's mother, boasted that her daughter was more beautiful than the Nereids, the sea nymphs. Enraged, Poseidon sent Setus to wreak havoc, demanding Andromeda be sacrificed to appease the monster. Setus is often depicted as a colossal, serpentine beast with gaping jaws, or in some versions a whale-like creature with a monstrous presence. Its appearance varies across ancient texts and artworks, but one thing remains consistent: it was a terrifying force of nature. The myth takes a dramatic turn when the hero Perseus, fresh from slaying Medusa, stumbles upon the scene. Andromeda, chained to a rock as an offering to Setus, faces her grim fate until Perseus swoops in, using Medusa's head to turn the monster to stone. It's a tale of bravery, divine punishment, and ultimate redemption. But Setus isn't just a monster, it's a symbol. In Greek mythology, it represents the chaos and unpredictability of the sea, a reminder of humanity's vulnerability to the gods' whims. Its influence stretches far beyond ancient Greece, too. Later cultures drew inspiration from Setus when crafting their own sea monster legends, often blending its serpentine or whale-like traits into new myths. From medieval bestiaries to modern fantasy, the shadow of Setus looms large. Speaking of cultural myths, let's shift our gaze to another part of the world, where Native American folklore tells of its own sea creatures. Among them is the fearsome water panther, a beast said to lurk in the Great Lakes, embodying the dangers and mysteries of the deep. But that's a story for another moment. Let's not stray too far from the waves just yet. From the depths of the Great Lakes to the roaring waterfalls of North America, the Hypeshoe emerges as one of the most fascinating and enigmatic creatures in Ojibwe mythology. Known as the underwater panther, this formidable spirit is often depicted as a hybrid of a sleek, powerful panther and a serpentine fish, its body adorned with scales and its tail coiled like a whip. But Hypeshoe is far more than just a mythical beast. It is a guardian of the waters, a protector of the treasures hidden beneath the surface, and a force of nature that commands both awe and fear. In Ojibwe tradition, Hypeshoe embodies a dual nature capable of great benevolence and terrifying destruction. On one hand, it is revered as a protector, ensuring the balance of aquatic ecosystems and safeguarding sacred underwater realms. On the other, its wrath can be unleashed without warning, stirring violent storms, churning waters, and even dragging unsuspecting humans into the depths. This duality reflects the Ojibwe worldview, where the natural world is seen as both nurturing and perilous, a place where respect and caution must always go hand in hand. Legends often speak of Miss Hypeshoe's interactions with humans, sometimes as a teacher and other times as a punisher. In one tale, a brave warrior seeks the creature's guidance to heal his people, venturing into its underwater lair. Miss Hypeshoe tests the warrior's courage and humility, rewarding him with knowledge and protection. Yet, in other stories, those who dare to steal from its domain or show disrespect face its fury, their boats overturned and their lives claimed by the waves. These stories serve as powerful reminders of the delicate relationship between humanity and the natural world, emphasizing the need for reverence and balance. Miss Hypeshoe's influence extends beyond the water's edge. It is deeply tied to natural phenomena, with its presence often associated with sudden storms, roaring waterfalls, and the unpredictable power of the Great Lakes. The Ojibwe people see these events as manifestations of Miss Hypeshoe's spirit, a reminder of its ever-watchful gaze. This connection to the environment underscores the creature's role as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, a symbol of the untamed forces that shape the land and its people. As we leave the shimmering waters of Ojibwe mythology, our journey takes us to the rivers and mountains of ancient China, where another legendary creature awaits, a being as mysterious and awe-inspiring as Miss Hypeshoe, yet rooted in a completely different cultural tapestry. Now let's dive into the depths of Chinese mythology to meet the Dragon Kings, the majestic rulers of the seas. These aren't just ordinary dragons, they are deities of immense power, revered as the guardians of the oceans and the masters of the weather. Imagine towering, serpentine figures with shimmering scales that glisten like the surface of the water, crowned with antler-like horns and adorned with flowing manes. Their presence is both awe-inspiring and fearsome, a testament to their dominion over the natural world. The Dragon Kings don't just exist to intimidate, they play a vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of nature, ensuring that the rains fall, the rivers flow, and the seas remain vast and untamed. In Chinese folklore, the Dragon Kings are often depicted as benevolent yet formidable. They reside in grand underwater palaces, surrounded by treasures and attended by an entourage of sea creatures. But their power isn't just for show, they are deeply connected to the lives of humans. Fishermen and sailors have long prayed to the Dragon Kings for safe voyages and bountiful catches, believing that these deities hold the key to their fortunes. Stories abound of the Dragon Kings intervening in human affairs, sometimes rewarding the virtuous and punishing the reckless. One tale tells of a fisherman who showed kindness to a stranded sea turtle, only to discover it was a messenger of the Dragon King who rewarded him with a lifetime of prosperity. The Dragon Kings also hold a symbolic significance that transcends their mythological roles. They are seen as protectors, embodying the forces of nature that both nurture and challenge humanity. Their control over water and weather makes them symbols of life and renewal, but also of unpredictability and power. In Chinese culture, dragons are often associated with good fortune, and the Dragon Kings are no exception. They are believed to bring prosperity, especially to those who honor them with respect and humility. This duality of being both fearsome and benevolent makes them one of the most fascinating figures in mythology. As we leave the realm of the Dragon Kings, let's turn our gaze toward another culture's interpretation of sea-dwelling beings. In Slavic folklore, there exists a creature equally captivating and mysterious, one that lurks in the dark waters of rivers and lakes, waiting to test the courage of those who dare to cross its path. But that's a story for another moment. Deep in the murky waters of Slavic rivers and lakes, a figure of dread awaits Vodyanoy, the malevolent water spirit. Imagine a being so grotesque it sends shivers down your spine. A hunched, frog-like body covered in slime, with glowing eyes and a mouth full of sharp teeth. Its hair is a tangled mess of seaweed, and its hands are webbed like those of a monstrous frog. This is no benevolent guardian of the waters. Vodyanoy is a predator, a spirit that revels in luring the unwary to a watery grave. Legend has it that Vodyanoy's voice carries an eerie, enchanting melody, one that drifts over the surface of the water, drawing curious travelers closer. Those who follow the music often meet a grim fate, dragged beneath the waves by the spirit's powerful grip. Fishermen and villagers knew to steer clear of certain spots along the riverbanks, especially at dusk when Vodyanoy was said to be most active. Tales abound of entire villages losing their bravest souls to this cunning creature, their bodies never to be found. But Vodyanoy wasn't just a mindless killer. In Slavic folklore, it served as a stark reminder of nature's dangers, a cautionary figure that taught respect for the untamed waters. To appease the spirit, villagers would perform rituals, offering gifts like bread, salt, or even livestock. Some stories even speak of sacrifices made to keep Vodyanoy at bay, a chilling testament to the fear it inspired. Yet, despite these efforts, the spirit remained unpredictable, a force of chaos that could never truly be tamed. From the shadowy depths of Slavic rivers, we now turn our gaze to the sun-soaked lands of ancient Egypt, where another terrifying creature lurks in the mythology of the Nile. This next monster, like Vodyanoy, embodies the fears and mysteries of its environment, but with a twist that reveals the unique beliefs of its culture. Stay with us as we uncover the secrets of this ancient Egyptian beast, a creature that haunted the dreams of an entire civilization. In the shadowy depths of Egyptian mythology lies Apep, the colossal serpent of chaos, a figure so fearsome that even the gods themselves trembled at its name. Known as the eternal enemy of Ra, the sun god, Apep was said to dwell in the dark, treacherous waters of the underworld, coiled and waiting to strike. Each night, as Ra journeyed through the underworld on his solar barge, Apep would rise from the abyss, intent on swallowing the sun and plunging the world into eternal darkness. This daily battle between light and chaos wasn't just a story. It was a cosmic struggle, a reminder of the delicate balance between order and destruction. Apep wasn't merely a physical threat, it was a symbol of everything that threatened the stability of the universe. In Egyptian belief, chaos wasn't just an abstract idea, it was a living, breathing force embodied by this monstrous serpent. The priests of ancient Egypt even performed rituals to weaken Apep, believing that their actions could aid Ra in his nightly fight. It's fascinating how this myth reflects humanity's age-old fear of the unknown, of forces beyond our control that could unravel the fabric of existence. But Apep's influence didn't stop at the Nile. This serpent of chaos left its mark on how later cultures imagined sea monsters. The idea of a colossal, serpentine creature lurking in the depths, waiting to rise and bring destruction, can be seen in countless legends across the world. From the Leviathan of the Bible to the great sea serpents of medieval maps, Apep's legacy is woven into the fabric of our collective imagination. And speaking of sea monsters, let's turn our gaze to the icy waters of the Arctic, where Inuit folklore tells of a different kind of predator, one equally terrifying, yet born from a world of snow and ice. This creature, known as the Kalupalik, is a far cry from the fiery chaos of Apep, but just as chilling in its own way. Let's dive into its story next. Beneath the icy waters of the Arctic lies a tale as deep and unforgiving as the ocean itself, the story of Sedna, the Inuit goddess of the sea. Known as the mother of marine life, Sedna is both a creator and a destroyer, a figure of profound reverence and fear. Her story begins with betrayal. Sedna, once a young woman, was deceived by her father, who cast her into the frigid waters to save himself during a violent storm. As she clung desperately to the side of the boat, her father severed her fingers one by one. Each digit transformed into a sea creature, seals, whales, and fish, giving life to the ocean's bounty. But Sedna herself sank to the depths, becoming the ruler of the sea and all its inhabitants. Her wrath is legendary. When hunters fail to show respect or break taboos, Sedna withholds the ocean's gifts, causing famine and hardship. To appease her, shamans must descend into the spirit world, combing her tangled hair, a symbolic act of cleansing and reconciliation to calm her anger and restore balance. These rituals are not just acts of survival, they are a testament to the deep spiritual connection between the Inuit people and the natural world. Sedna is both protector and punisher, a reminder of the delicate relationship between humanity and the forces of nature. From the icy Arctic, we journey to the sun-scorched lands of ancient Mesopotamia, where another legendary creature stirs in the depths of myth. The stories of the sea are as vast as the waters themselves, and each culture brings its own tales of awe and terror. But before we dive into the next chapter, let's take a moment to reflect. What would it mean to live in a world where the sea itself could bless or curse you? Sedna's story challenges us to consider the power of nature and the consequences of our actions, lessons that resonate far beyond the frozen north. Now, let's dive into the depths of Arabic mythology, where the Bahamut reigns as one of the most awe-inspiring creatures ever imagined. Picture a fish so colossal that its very existence defies comprehension, a being so vast that it carries the earth itself on its back. This is the Bahamut, a creature not merely of the sea but of the cosmos, a living embodiment of the infinite and the unknown. Its scales shimmer with the light of distant stars, and its movements ripple through the fabric of existence, reminding us of the unfathomable scale of creation. The Bahamut is more than just a giant fish, it is a cornerstone of the cosmic hierarchy. According to legend, it rests upon the back of an even more enormous bull named Kujata, who stands atop a massive ruby. Beneath the ruby lies an angel, and beneath the angel, a sea of darkness stretches endlessly. This intricate structure symbolizes the delicate balance of the universe, with the Bahamut serving as a bridge between the heavens and the earth. Its role is both physical and spiritual, holding the world together while embodying the grandeur of the divine. Stories of the Bahamut often intertwine with other mythical beings, creating a rich tapestry of cosmic drama. In some tales, it is said that if the Bahamut were to descend into the depths of the ocean, the entire world would be submerged. In others, it is described as a guardian of the natural order, ensuring that chaos does not overwhelm creation. Its interactions with other entities, like the colossal bull Kujata or the celestial angels, highlight its importance as a central figure in the mythological cosmos. These narratives not only entertain but also offer profound insights into humanity's attempts to understand the vastness of existence. Symbolically, the Bahamut represents the boundless nature of creation. Its immense size and cosmic role remind us of the limits of human understanding and the awe-inspiring scale of the universe. It challenges us to think beyond our immediate reality and consider the mysteries that lie beyond our perception. This symbolism has resonated across cultures, influencing later mythological traditions and inspiring countless interpretations of the divine and the infinite. As we marvel at the Bahamut's grandeur, we're reminded that mythology often serves as a mirror, reflecting humanity's deepest questions about the universe and our place within it. And speaking of grand mythical creatures, let's turn our gaze to ancient Greece, where another legendary being awaits. A creature whose story is just as captivating and whose presence looms just as large in the annals of myth. The Hydra, a creature so terrifying it could make even the bravest heroes hesitate, is one of the most iconic sea monsters in Greek mythology. Picture this, a massive serpent-like beast lurking in the murky waters of the swamp near Lerna, its multiple heads swaying menacingly above the surface. But it wasn't just the number of heads that made the Hydra so fearsome, it was their ability to grow back. For every head that was cut off, 2 more would sprout in its place, making this monster nearly impossible to defeat. It's no wonder the Hydra became a symbol of overwhelming, seemingly insurmountable challenges. The Hydra's most famous encounter was with the hero Hercules as part of his 12 labors. Tasked with slaying the beast, Hercules quickly realized that brute force alone wouldn't work. Every time he struck off a head, the creature grew stronger and more dangerous. It wasn't until he enlisted the help of his nephew, Iolaus, that they found a solution. Together, they used fire to cauterize each neck after cutting off a head, preventing new ones from growing. This clever strategy not only highlights Hercules' ingenuity, but also underscores the Hydra's role as a metaphor for problems that require more than just strength to solve. They demand creativity, perseverance, and sometimes a little help from others. Beyond its dramatic role in myth, the Hydra has left a lasting mark on how we imagine sea monsters. Its regenerative abilities and many heads have inspired countless depictions of other creatures in literature and pop culture, from multi-headed dragons to modern-day horror beasts. The Hydra's influence reminds us that some challenges, much like the monster itself, are not easily vanquished. They linger, adapt, and force us to think differently to overcome them. With the Hydra's tail behind us, we now turn to the icy waters of Norse mythology, where another legendary sea creature awaits, a beast as enigmatic as it is terrifying, lurking beneath the waves of the frozen north. Beneath the surface of rivers and lakes in Germanic and Scandinavian folklore lurks a creature as enchanting as it is deadly, the Nyx. These malevolent water spirits are masters of deception, using their shape-shifting abilities to appear as breathtakingly beautiful humans or majestic horses. Their allure is irresistible, designed to draw unsuspecting victims close to the water's edge. But the Nyx's true nature is far from serene. Their haunting melodies, echoing across the water, are said to hypnotize those who listen, luring them into the depths where they meet a grim fate. Legends tell of travelers who, entranced by the Nyx's song, wandered too close to the water only to be pulled under by invisible hands. In some tales, the Nyx even takes on the form of a loved one, using familiarity to disarm their prey. One chilling story speaks of a young man who followed the voice of his betrothed, only to find himself face to face with the Nyx's true, monstrous form. These tales served as stark warnings to communities living near rivers and lakes, reminding them of the dangers that lay beneath the surface. The Nyx wasn't just a figure of terror, though. In many ways, they embodied the unpredictable and often unforgiving nature of water itself. Rivers and lakes could be sources of life, but they could also claim lives in an instant. The Nyx became a cautionary symbol, teaching people to respect the power of water and to be wary of its seductive beauty. Their stories were passed down through generations, not just to frighten, but to instill a sense of caution and reverence for the natural world. From the haunting waters of Germanic and Scandinavian folklore, we now turn our gaze to the ancient rivers of Mesopotamia, where another legendary creature awaits. The myths of this region are as old as civilization itself, filled with beings that blur the line between the divine and the monstrous. Among them is a creature that embodies the chaos and mystery of the ancient world, a figure whose story echoes through the ages. Deep beneath the earth, where the roots of the world intertwine, lies the Umibōzu, a vast primordial ocean of fresh water that pulses with the essence of creation itself. In Sumerian mythology, the Umibōzu is not just a body of water, it is the very origin of life, a sacred realm that precedes even the gods. Picture this endless expanse, dark and teeming with potential, where the boundaries between chaos and order blur. It is here, in these ancient waters, that the god Enki, the wise and cunning deity of wisdom and magic, makes his home. Enki is both guardian and master of the Umibōzu, drawing from its depths the knowledge and power to shape the world. The Umibōzu's significance in Sumerian creation myths cannot be overstated. It is the source from which all life springs, the womb of the universe. According to legend, the first gods emerged from the mingling of the Umibōzu waters with the heavens, giving birth to the cosmos. But the Umibōzu is more than just a physical place. It is a symbol of the untamed, primal forces that exist before civilization, before order. It represents the raw, creative energy that lies at the heart of existence, a reminder that even the most structured societies are rooted in chaos. This duality, creation and destruction, wisdom and chaos, echoes throughout Sumerian mythology and beyond. The Umibōzu's influence can be traced in later traditions, where it becomes a metaphor for the subconscious, the hidden depths of the mind where secrets and truths reside. It is also deeply connected to the concept of the underworld, a realm where the boundaries between life and death dissolve. In this sense, the Umibōzu is not just a physical place but a spiritual one, a gateway to the mysteries of existence. But the Umibōzu's legacy doesn't end with Sumerian myths. Its themes resonate in other cultures where bodies of water often symbolize the unknown and the divine. For example, in ancient Greek mythology, the idea of primordial waters takes on a new form with the figure of Oceanus, the titan who embodies the world-encircling river. Like the Umibōzu, Oceanus represents the source of all rivers and seas, a cosmic force that sustains and connects all life. And just as the Umibōzu is linked to the underworld, so too are the waters of Oceanus tied to the realms of the dead, where souls journey after life. This connection between water, creation, and the underworld is a thread that weaves through countless myths, reminding us of humanity's enduring fascination with the deep, the dark, and the unknown. It's a theme that continues to captivate, whether in ancient stories or modern tales of the sea's mysteries. From the depths of Greek mythology, we now turn to the sirens, those mesmerizing yet perilous enchantresses of the sea. These creatures are perhaps best known for their hauntingly beautiful songs, a melody so irresistible that it drew sailors toward certain destruction. But who were the sirens, and why did they wield such power over those who heard their call? According to legend, the sirens were often depicted as half-bird, half-woman beings, though later interpretations portrayed them as mermaid-like figures. Their origins are shrouded in mystery, with some tales suggesting they were once handmaidens of the goddess Persephone, cursed to live as sirens after failing to protect her. Others claim they were born from the blood of the river god Aeolus. Regardless of their origin, their purpose was clear: to lure sailors off course with their voices, leading ships to crash upon the jagged rocks of their island. One of the most famous encounters with the sirens comes from Homer's Odyssey. Odysseus, warned of their deadly allure, ordered his crew to plug their ears with beeswax and tie him to the ship's mast. As they sailed past the sirens' island, Odysseus heard their song, a melody so enchanting that he begged to be released, but the crew held him fast, ensuring their safe passage. This tale highlights the sirens as symbols of temptation, embodying the seductive pull of desire and the dangers of succumbing to it. Beyond their role in myth, the sirens have left an indelible mark on how we think about the sea and its mysteries. Their story has influenced countless depictions of sea monsters and sirens in literature, art, and even modern media, often representing the dual nature of beauty and peril. They remind us that not all dangers are obvious. Sometimes the most enticing things can lead us astray. As we leave the sirens behind, let's set our course for the waters of ancient Egypt, where another fearsome creature awaits. The sirens may have been masters of seduction, but the Egyptian Leviathan was a force of pure, unrelenting power, a story that brings us face to face with the raw, untamed fury of the deep. From the icy waters of the north to the vast, shimmering seas of the east, the sea serpent emerges as one of the most universal symbols of fear in human mythology. This creature, often depicted as a massive, coiling beast with scales that glisten like the deep ocean itself, has slithered its way into the stories of countless cultures. In Norse mythology, we find Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent, a colossal creature so enormous it encircles the entire world, biting its own tail. This serpent isn't just a monster, it's a force of chaos, destined to battle the god Thor during the cataclysmic events of Ragnarok. Meanwhile, across the globe in Chinese mythology, the dragon kings rule the seas, not as mere serpents but as divine beings who control the rains and tides. These dragons, though often revered, still embody the unpredictable and often terrifying power of the ocean. What makes the sea serpent such a powerful symbol across so many cultures? At its core, this creature represents humanity's primal fear of the unknown. The ocean, vast and uncharted, has always been a place of mystery and danger. To ancient seafarers, the depths were a realm of endless possibility and endless peril. The sea serpent became the embodiment of that fear, a lurking predator in the dark waters ready to strike at any moment. It's no wonder that these creatures have persisted in our stories, evolving over time to reflect our changing anxieties. Even today, the sea serpent lives on in modern interpretations of sea monsters, from the tentacled Kraken to the shadowy Leviathan of maritime legends. But the sea serpent isn't just a symbol of fear, it's also a testament to humanity's imagination. Each culture has adapted the creature to fit its own worldview. In some tales, the serpent is a malevolent force, a destroyer of ships and devourer of sailors. In others, it's a guardian, a protector of sacred waters or a bridge between the human and divine realms. This duality, both terrifying and awe-inspiring, makes the sea serpent one of the most fascinating figures in mythology. As we move from the familiar tales of Norse and Chinese lore, let's dive into the ancient waters of Mesopotamia, where another serpent-like creature emerges from the depths of myth. This being, known as Tiamat, is not just a monster but a primordial goddess of the sea, a force of creation and destruction intertwined. Her story offers a unique perspective on how ancient cultures viewed the ocean, not just as a source of fear but as a source of life itself. The allure of sea monsters isn't just confined to ancient myths or the shadowy depths of the ocean. It's seeped into the very fabric of human culture, shaping stories, art, and even the way we see the world. From the earliest cave paintings to the silver screens of Hollywood, these creatures have been a constant source of fascination, fear, and wonder. They've served as both cautionary tales and symbols of the unknown, reflecting humanity's complex relationship with the natural world. Think about it. In ancient times, sea monsters like the Kraken or Leviathan weren't just terrifying beasts, they were metaphors for the untamed power of the ocean itself. Sailors told tales of these creatures to explain the dangers they faced, but also to remind themselves of the mysteries that lay beyond the horizon. Fast forward to today, and we see these same themes echoed in modern media. Films like Clash of the Titans or Pirates of the Caribbean bring these ancient myths to life, reimagining them for new audiences while keeping their primal essence intact. But it's not just about entertainment. Sea monsters have always carried a deeper meaning. In literature, they often symbolize the chaotic, uncontrollable forces of nature, forces that humanity has tried to conquer, understand, or coexist with for centuries. From the epic poems of Homer to the works of Jules Verne, these creatures have been used to explore themes of survival, exploration, and the limits of human knowledge. Art, too, has been profoundly influenced by these mythical beings. Medieval maps often depicted sea monsters lurking at the edges of the known world, a visual representation of both danger and discovery. Even today, contemporary artists draw inspiration from these legends, using them to comment on environmental issues or the fragility of our ecosystems. And let's not forget their role in modern storytelling. Video games, graphic novels, and even theme park attractions continue to breathe new life into these ancient tales. They've become cultural touchstones, reminding us of our shared history while inviting us to imagine new possibilities. What's truly remarkable is how these stories have endured. Despite the advances in science and technology, the sea monster remains a powerful symbol, one that speaks to our deepest fears and curiosities. They remind us that, no matter how much we learn about the world, there will always be mysteries waiting to be uncovered. As we reflect on the themes we've explored, it's clear that sea monsters are more than just figments of our imagination. They're a mirror reflecting our hopes, our fears, and our endless quest to understand the unknown. And as long as we continue to tell their stories, they'll remain a vital part of our cultural legacy.